Andre Wade was just released. Once again, here to talk about some things that taking place that I've spoken of in a few of my episodes about parole lawyers. The reason why I want to speak about parole lawyers is because I think I made a statement about trusting God. And what I mean about trusting God is that when we pray for something and we ask God to answer it for us, then that means if I get a parole lawyer or any kind of lawyer or anybody to help me, I know that God got me, and that whatever is going on that I'm paying somebody to do, then God gonna see it through. But parole lawyers, I feel that if an inmate can afford his people or his loved ones to be able to get him a parole lawyer, then a parole lawyer is good to have. But when you get a parole lawyer, you have to see what his percentages is of getting somebody out of a prison. See, if your child or your husband or somebody is in prison in Abilene, but your parole lawyer live in San Antonio, then you need to find out what his winter procedures is up in that area, because you would rather have a parole lawyer with a winter percentage in the area where your child is in prison at. A lot of people, they just go out and they get these parole lawyers, and these parole lawyers just get your money, and knowing that they can't get them people up out of them prisons in them areas. So when you get a parole lawyer, you can go online and you can see what his winning percentages is. If your child have a large sentence, then you want to know how many inmates he done got out of prison with very large sentences. Because some of them can get a person out with 2-3 year sentences, 5 year sentences, which is easy to get out because they're going to get out anyway. You don't even need no parole lawyer. You got that kind of sentence. You're going to make parole anyway. You're going to probably make your first one, if not the second one. So when you deal with these parole lawyers, analyze their background. They talk good. Because the things that they need in order to get your child out of prison, you can put together yourself. You can put a parole package together yourself. You even can go to the parole hearing and speak for your child. You can do that yourself. But I know it's more easier for parole lawyers, because the parole lawyers, they can utilize their influence more so better than a person just stepping in there. But a parole lawyer is good to have if your child have a large sentence. You know, they doing half of their sentences and all that. Well, you don't want to get a parole lawyer and your child don't come up for parole until the next 5 years. That's just a waste of money. You would probably want to get him a parole lawyer within 18 months of him coming up for parole. That gives the lawyer enough time to put together some things for your child in order for him to make parole or her to make parole. Because I encourage the people out here that's viewing my show, if you are able to purchase a parole lawyer for your child, then do so. Then do so. But before you go and analyze one, pray and ask God to guide you in the right way, in the right direction, so that when that person go to represent your child, they would represent them as if that was their only child inside those walls of confinement. And it's the way I feel. See, I never had a parole lawyer because I gave all my faith to God. I gave my parole to God, and he granted me that. So every day I'm out here, I know that it was all God that allowed me to my freedom once again. So I take great favor in that. I give highly favor with that, because I know it was all him. But I trust him. I did the things that was required for me to make parole. Because just as well as you getting a parole lawyer, your husband, your brother, your sister, anybody that's incarcerated, they have to do their part. They have to stay out of trouble, because if you get in trouble, then you are paying your money for nothing. So if you feel that your husband or your child or your sister is worth paying money for and getting a parole law, I suggest that you do that. Because I know you want your husband home. I know you want your child home. I know you do. I know what a mother goes through. I know what a wife goes through when their loved ones is incarcerated and they steady setting you off. They steady setting you off. They set you out for the same thing. And that's not fair, because that's not the way the parole board reads. They have stipulations up on their own self, but they don't go by them, because you have different regions without the state of Texas where prisons is in, and all of the commissioners on the parole board is not reviewing every person case within Texas. It's different ones, and wherever your child is at, you can find out who the parole commissioners are, and you can call them. I told you, write letters. Let them know that they have somebody out here that's love them, that's going to support and help them once they be free. And that's all they really want to know. Because if a person is down there and they don't have no support, then they'll treat them any kind of way. They'll treat them any kind of way. They'll leave them people down there for years. For years. I told you in one of my episodes, all my nieces and nephews was born while I was in prison. And they're all grown now. These people play for keeps. They don't play for play. They got a well put together system. And if your child is not having the support in order to make parole, then it'll be a long time before we make it. I know we're struggling out here. It's not easy. We place ourselves in prison. We do that to ourselves. But I just have to thank you mothers once again. I got to thank you sisters, you aunties, you brothers, you uncles, you fathers. I have to thank you for just putting whatever you can put in for your child while they serve time. I just want to thank you, because I've seen so many individuals while I was there. And it's not a sight to see, but I want to thank you. Continue to watch Just Release. Andre Wade. Thank you and have a blessed day. God bless you.